Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
So here's a question for you. What is your current mobile device? And by that I mean your phone, your communications gateway. Uh, what are you currently using? I know people still ask me if I'm using the iPhone still, and yes, I am. But I tell you, the first mobile device I ever owned and used with a service plan was far from the iPhone in terms of functionality. Didn't have a color screen. It was just a plain old LCD. I think I had a game on it, it was like a snake game. I think they call it Nibbler or something like that. It was a Nokia phone. I could, send and receive phone calls, mobile calls, or calls. I could text message, but I really didn't do that a lot. Didn't really start text messaging until I picked up the iPhone. So, I jumped into it because I wanted to communicate with people, even though I wasn't tied to a landline or a traditional phone line. That's why I got a wireless device for voice services. Been doing it for, well, almost 10 years. But some people are just now starting to get into these wireless services and plans and so much to deal with. So Pongo Sean, someone from our chat room at live.pirillo.com, has submitted the top 5 tips for purchasing or dealing with purchasing a wireless device, or wireless phone in this case. Number 1, consider a case. At one point in time, you are probably going to drop that device accidentally or possibly purposefully. Under certain conditions, if your phone is dropped, you may damage it beyond repair. Would you rather pay for a new case rather than a new device? I'm telling you, they're relatively inexpensive in comparison. And if the case itself is more expensive than the phone or device, well, then you're probably choosing the wrong device. In some cases, you could get that case or cover for free if you sign up for a plan. You can usually talk your way into getting something for free when you're purchasing something. Always ask, because you never know. They may say, oh, we'll throw in a car charger for you. We'll throw in an accessory or two. And speaking of, the second tip is know your accessories and shop online for a possible discount. So instead of just getting it all at once, if you don't really need the accessory, you might consider either doing your research before you pick up a phone or a plan, or just holding off on it if it is not crucial or it is not essential. I've had to. I can probably go into the other room and show you the baggie full, and I mean like a gallon baggie full of adapters that would fit with a million different phones. It's just impossible to keep up with the amount of accessories that you may pick up for one mobile device or another. Your best bet, though, is only buy if you need it. And then even so, see if you can find a discount for something online. Pongo Sean found that when he needed to get a Bluetooth headset, he ended up finding a $20 discount online. And he saved himself a few bucks, which, every dollar counts. Okay, next tip. Go to look at the phone, at the device, in a store. Or, possibly borrow it from a friend. Really get a feel for it. You might remember I had the 20 reasons why I wasn't going to buy an iPhone on the first day. And then I ended up getting an iPhone as a birthday present for my wife. But that was only after I was playing with her iPhone and really started to understand why people were fawning over it. It was for good reason. But I'm not saying the iPhone is it for you, but if you got your eye on some kind of mobile device, it's probably better that you play with it before you buy it, because there are so many things you have to keep in mind. How easy is the software to use? Does it feel good? Will it fit in your pocket comfortably? A lot of variables at play that you just can't get the feel for when you're looking at something on the screen, or you try to order something online without you really getting a good feel for what it is. So if you can get a hold of it, take advantage of that option. Next tip, consider your plans. So, when you're at the store, or when you're walking into some kind of store, and they tell you, get a 2-year plan, which is what Pongo Sean suggests, you may save money, but if you're not sure, what this provider is like, especially if you're switching from another provider, sometimes the grass is always greener. I've been with a handful of providers over the years, wireless service providers, and they all are kind of bad. You kind of have to go with the lesser of all evils, in which is the least evil. Well, it depends on what you want from a company. They all have their positives and negatives, benefits and drawbacks. So you can go with the 2-year plan and save money on the phone or possibly the plan, or you can go now with like a 1-year plan or possibly even a month-to-month. Ponzi and I have taken to just going with a 1-year plan. It doesn't save us money, but at least we know we have that freedom within a year to change providers. So, it just depends on what you want from it, how locked in you want to feel with your wireless service provider. And yes, I think the wireless service providers and plans in the U.S. are very consumer unfriendly. I think they don't do us any favors. I don't trust any wireless company, and I think they're doing it wrong, because I should be able to use this phone with any provider that is capable of carrying, the data services that are, I guess, contingent with the hardware on the phone, not just this particular network, one over the other. And last but not least, what do you want to use that phone for? So years ago, it was just, you need it to make calls. Well, now there's calls, text messaging, possibly GPS services, multimedia, of pictures, and there are a lot of things that can be wrapped up with a mobile device. And that's why they're starting to call them mobile devices, not necessarily wireless phones. Because this is a wireless phone, it's a cordless phone, but it's not really, I've got it connected to a Vonage line here at home. This is a mobile device. I'm on the go. It does more than just make phone calls, and it does more than just receive phone calls. I can do a lot of things with this device. So, to me, I wanted it all-in-one. I didn't want to carry around even 2 devices. I wanted one. So for me, I was going for the comprehensive Bing iPhone. Now for you, if all you want to do is, I just want to make phone calls, that's it. Well, you can go with just about any phone. What feels the most comfortable to you? What's in your budget? My dad has just a very basic phone. He can't stand it. It drops calls, and that could be related to his service provider. But he doesn't really want to do anything about it, because he's not going to spend extra money on features that he does not want and he does not need. You'll never see my dad walking around with a phone that has a camera attached to it, at least until the point where they start, releasing camera or phones that only have cameras on them. We're not at that point yet. So just keep in mind, don't overspend on the device. Don't go in and be suckered by a salesperson who's maybe getting a commission. Now, there's a bonus tip, speaking of salespeople. This is something that Pongo Sean added, and this has been my experience as well. Be careful when purchasing a phone through a third-party retailer, a reseller, if you will. Walk into the store or if you're going to a store, or go directly to the wireless service provider, not through a reseller. There are benefits from doing this. For instance, I know that if I have an issue with this particular device, there's only 2 companies I'd have to deal with rather than 3. And when you start having problems with phones or service plans and yada, 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 they play the blame game. They love playing the blame game. So take one of those names out of the equation, and you'd probably be a lot happier, especially when problems do arise. So anyway, those are some tips that might help you when you're going to purchase a wireless device, or possibly even passing this video along to someone who's never purchased a wireless device before and aren't really sure what to do. Don't be scared. I think, my life with this is a lot more complete than my life was without this, and this being something. You know what? It was funny. I have only seen 1 or 2 payphones in the past few months, and you used to see them everywhere. That was the way you communicated when you weren't at home. Has anybody used a payphone in the past X months? Maybe you have. Maybe you still swear by payphones. I used to swear at payphones. You know those things, like 50 cents a phone call now? Ugh. Give me a break. Make 2 of those phone calls and you've paid for 3 of these. Yeah, I exaggerate, obviously. No matter if you have any other tips related to the wireless industry or mobile devices in general, you can email me, chris@pirillo.com, if they're interesting enough or written well. I'd love to share them with the rest of the community. Of course, I take any kind of top tips that you might be able to pass along, whether it's related to tech or communications or not. You're also welcome to join us in our chat room, where we are typically talking tech. Sometimes it's about software, sometimes it's about hardware, sometimes it's about services, sometimes it's about, products like the iPhone. You never really know. But as I said, we're a a friendly bunch, and we love sharing information. Sometimes we ask questions, sometimes we answer questions, but we're always here. And streaming live video and audio. Even though I can't say audio, I was trying to say audio out, and it came out audio. Maybe I just coined a new word there. Audio. Audio out. And we make up new words all the time. I can do that. I've got a degree in English education, which means I'm only qualified to teach nouns and verbs. So stop on by. I'll give you an English lesson or two. We're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.